The Hambantota District Disaster Management Centre says that the floods caused by the rise in the water level of the Balaveganga in Ambalantota has now receded. Assistant Director of the Hambantota DMC, Harsha Ravindra, said that around 300 people have been affected by the floods.
Ambalantota South, Bolana South and Puhulyaya areas were inundated last evening following the opening of 4 spill gates of the Udavalava Reservoir. The Hambantota District Disaster Management Centre noted that around 90 houses had gone underwater and 4 of them had been extensively damaged. Our cameras captured the manner in which the water had receded by this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Ridigama Road in Hambantota, which was also underwater this morning, has now returned to normal.
Now, earlier in the days, Leader of the House, Minister Nima Siripal De Silva, raised a privilege issue concerning the notice being served by the Supreme Court, naming the members of the Select Committee in question and the Speaker of Parliament as respondents in relation to the impeachment of the Chief Justice. As promised here, the views of several parliamentarians expressed before Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa delivered his ruling.
Ada Parliamentary Baleta Varaprasadavata Atagahannata ena me
Halting the interference into the privileges of Parliament is the only way we can stop the country from sliding into a state of anarchy. If the judiciary seeks to challenge this, we need to inform them that they exist with the consent of the legislature and the executive.
පවතින්නේ ව්‍යවස්ථාදායකයෙක් විධායකයෙක් එකඟත්වයේ අනුව පමණයි.
අපි විරුද්ධ වෙනවා යම් අවස්ථාවක ඔබතුමා අධිකරණයට ගෙන්නුවොත්. මේ දේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් අධිකරණය ඔබතුමා විවේචනයට ලක් වුණොත්
we will protest if by some chance you are summoned to court in this regard. If the court criticizes you, then we will protest against it, devoid of party differences, and we will stand up to ensure the independence of Parliament. In the same manner, we also need to protect the honour of the judiciary. There is an issue with regard to whether we have judicial powers or not, but we disregarded this and assumed judicial powers to summon the highest authority who has judicial powers to Parliament and then go on to criticize the manner in which she smiles and walks. Members of Parliament have expressed such views.
අපි කතා නොකළ යුතු දේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් විශේෂයෙන් මන්ත්‍රීවරු අදහස් ප්‍රකාශ කළ තියෙනවා කතා නායක.
මම කියන්නේ මේ ක්‍රමය හරිද වැරදිද කියලා. අවුරුදු 25ක් මේ රටේ
I will tell you whether this is right or wrong. For 25 years, what did the judiciary, the Bar Association, do to rectify this if it was wrong? How many lawyers have entered Parliament? If lawyers who do not understand the manner in which this works have been sent to Parliament, I am saddened by it. Were all of you asleep till the 5th impeachment motion was brought up?
Sir, you know, we do not possess judicial powers except investigative powers. So on that particular basis, every person in this country is innocent until proven guilty. It is only the Chief Justice of this country, if so desired by members of Parliament, brings a motion in, the CJ is guilty until proven innocent. That is the sole difference in this particular one. So this is the reason why this has to be very cautiously handled, sir.
It is my respectful submission to you, sir, that it is your clear duty to tell the whole world that this Parliament cannot be interfered with. We shall countenance no interference. It is a contempt of this Parliament, clearly, indisputably, it is a contempt of this Parliament to have the temerity to notice the Speaker of this Assembly and to order the Speaker to file written submissions. We must reject that with all the authority at our command.
It is for this Parliament to decide whether we are going to answer those notices or not. That is entirely in the discretion of this Parliament and the Honourable Speaker. So the basic idea of the whole issue is they went into court to find out whether the select committee that has been appointed by the Honourable Speaker has got judicial powers or not. The powers that are vested with the select committee is only a committee to investigate and report to the Honourable Speaker, and it is entirely in the discretion of the Honourable Speaker to do what is correct under the privileges of this House.
අපි බලතල තාරක්ෂණන අධිකරණයට
Our privileges should be protected, while the independence of the judiciary should also be protected. The Chief Justice should be allowed to take part in this non-judicial process in line with her rights. If we do this, then this tension will decrease and we will be able to move on. Many government and opposition members spoke on the privilege issue brought up by Minister Nimal Siripala. I will take all this into consideration, study everything and give a ruling on it later.
මේ සියල්ලම සැලකිල්ලට අරගෙන මේ පිළිබඳව අධ්‍යයනයක් කරලා මම මේ පිළිබඳව පසුවට නියෝගයක් ලබා දෙනවා.
The final rights of the 6 people who died yesterday in the train accident that occurred in the Kirimatiyava railway crossing in Ambalampola were performed today. The daughter of the trishaw driver who sustained injuries in the accident is receiving treatment at the ICU of the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital.
Members of 2 families who had arrived from Birgama to attend an event at the Ambanpula temple in Mahawa met with the untimely tragedy at the Kirimatiyava unprotected railway crossing. The trishaw that they were travelling in collided with the Yaldevi train which was travelling towards Babunia from Colombo. The driver of the trishaw, his wife and one of his children as well as a woman who was a neighbour and her 2 children also died in the accident. The bodies of the trishaw driver, his wife and child were lying at their parents' residence in Amungama, Ambanpula. The final rites were performed this afternoon at the Ambanpula Public Cemetery.
In 2011, unguarded railway crossings caused 82 accidents resulting in 18 deaths and injuring 48 people. So far this year, 85 accidents have killed 18 people and injured 52. 626 railway crossings remain unguarded across the island. The Department of Railways says that they do not have enough funds to put up signals or gates at all railway crossings. Are the authorities waiting for the death toll to rise further to take action? The Colombo District Secretary Kamal Padmasri says that all the divisional secretariats have copies of the birth, death, marriage and pension certificates. The public will not be inconvenienced as a result of the fire at the Colombo Kacheri. A number of documents were destroyed in the fire that broke out at the Colombo District Secretariat or the Colombo Kacheri recently.
A large number of documents and equipment were destroyed in the fire that broke out at the Colombo Kacheri on Monday night. The district secretary noted that investigations are underway to determine the extent of the damage. Yesterday, the police and the government analysts allowed us to go into the accounts department. When we opened our safe in that department, we were able to retrieve the unharmed documents. We opened some of the cupboards and were able to retrieve documents that were not harmed. At present, I cannot comment on the damage caused until the investigations are over. However, I can say without any doubt that the divisional secretariats will have copies of the birth, marriage, death and pension certificates.
You said
that weapons that were to be decommissioned were stored in the building. Why were such weapons stored in this building?
The district secretariat issues licenses for weapons. From the past, there has been an armory in this building, but we stopped accepting weapons recently. Yet we had the old weapons. As the district secretary, I cannot say whether this was sabotage. I should make a responsible statement. For me to do that, I need to see the reports from the police and the government analyst.
Do you
think that this location and this building are suitable to continue the operations of the district secretariat?
At present, there is a district secretariat complex that is coming up in Timrigasyaya. Everyone knows that according to the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, all land matters come under the divisional secretariats, which have been decentralized. Those title reports can be obtained from divisional secretariats even today. It can be obtained from the land registry as well. Such information was not available at the district secretariats.
Nobel co-laureate Professor Mohan Munasinghe says that dealing with problems such as poverty, illness and environmental damage, one at a time, will lead to failure. He expressed his view at the 6th Asian Congress of Pediatric Infectious Diseases, which commenced in Colombo yesterday.
Minister of Health Maithripala Sirisena was the chief guest at the inaugural session of the 6th Asian Congress of Pediatric Infectious Diseases, which commenced in Colombo yesterday.
Our health indicators have over the past few decades
risen above the regional averages. Our future strategies include, among other aspects, developing and maintaining centers of excellence in the field of treating pediatric infectious diseases, especially for control of dengue fever, hepatitis, tuberculosis, and improving medical research for this purpose.
If we try, as I said, to deal with problems like poverty and illness and environmental damage one at a time, we will fail. Governments are reacting, as I said, piecemeal and very inadequately at that. This is a high-risk situation. So we have to learn now to go through a transition to make development more sustainable with systematic policy reforms. We need an integrated, harmonious approach, and most importantly, we need business and civil society, professionals like yourselves, to step up and try to push governments to do the right thing. Because increasingly, worldwide, political and world leaders and governments are increasingly less and less capable of dealing with these very complex problems.
On to business news now. Minister of State Management Reforms Navin Dissanayake says that it is a question whether the benefits of investments made in the state sector would in fact accrue to the country. A workshop to educate officials on preparing plans for state institutions was held today at the Sri Lanka Administrations Institute. There are 1.3 million serving the state sector. There is a question as to whether this 1.3 million is utilized properly and whether the investment made on this 1.3 million benefits the country. Over 50,000 graduates have been recruited to the state service. There are various views on this. How can the state provide jobs for 50,000 all of such? Salaries will have to be paid using tax money of the ordinary people. Can the country's economy bear this? These are some of the questions that are being asked.
Best cut. Make your choice now.
Silpada pahen mang hatarak katla diyewa eka kawuruත් dannawa.
අපේ පක්ෂ නායකතුමාත් හොඳ දේශපාලන කෙනෙක්. එතුමාගේ කාල පරිච්ඡේදය තුල පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රී 61ක් පාඩු ඉල්ලන්නේ නැතුව දීලා තියෙනවා. ඊට අවුරුදු දෙක තුනකට ඉස්සෙල්ලා රුපියල් 1000ක් අරගෙන හොරණ පොලට ආවහම බඩු මල්ලක් ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන්කම තිබුණා. නමුත් අද ඒක කරන්න බෑ.
Vote now for your favorite cut of the day. Log on to www.newsfirst.lk or SMS to BEST space your choice and send it to 7788. For the best cut of the day, watch News First on Sirius TV at 10 tonight.
It's time now for the newspaper cartoon of the day.